And now, you're tuned into RBLR, the home of Tampa Bay's Reveler Sports.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to your RBLR Rays show. I'm Ben. With me is Zach. Good morning, Zach. How's it going? I feel like we just talked for a really long time, but we just got on the show here.
Yeah, we just got here. It's crazy. I guess it's just the chemistry that we have naturally. It just creates that feeling.
Yeah, I'm getting deja vu right now. It feels like
Yeah.
we've recorded before, but
I know.
anyways,
crazy.
interesting week of Rays baseball to say the least. We may have lost McClanahan for the season, so we're going to find out more about that. Wander Franco played the hero last night with his walk-off home run, his first since he played for the Stone Crabs, back when the Rays had the Stone Crabs as their high A affiliate. But now we have a different high A affiliate, which we actually will touch on a little bit later. And the Rays gained ground on Baltimore this week. They're just 2 games back of first place. So it was kind of an up and down week with they won quite a bit of games.
They won a good amount of baseball games, which is a good thing.
Yeah. They lost the overall series to the Cardinals, but they still gained ground on Baltimore, while Toronto, New York, Boston continue to wet
Spiral.
the bed. So yeah.
Good stuff.
But it is good stuff. And some other good stuff is, well, I guess the whole podcast that we do is pretty good. So if you think it's the goodest, you could vote for us to win the Best Podcast Award for the Best of the Bay Awards by Creative Loafing. We need you to vote for us. It helps us win. Thank you for the nomination, first of all. But now we want to kind of finish the job. We gotta bring it home and secure the trophy here. So go ahead and head over to creativeloafing.com. I'm sure we'll have some kind of links to plug, and we'll post links with us posting this podcast, or not podcast, but the show. We're still running for like the showcast. We're in the podcast category though. You know what I'm talking about. So do your best to vote for us. We would really appreciate it. Don't even have to buy a shirt. Just vote for us, and it will help us continue to produce some great stuff and grow and entertain you.
Which we would like to do.
Yes. And we actually had a really special guest this week who is always entertaining, but also extremely informative and thoughtful. And I feel like I learned so much every time he opens his mouth. So I was really excited. We had Haden Erbe on we have an interview with Haden Erbe that we're about to do. And he's coming on to talk to us about his experience in the Rays organization. Really awesome pitching prospect down in Bowling Green, the current Rays High A affiliate. And yeah, he's just a great guy, great pitcher, great teammate. What more could you want? All right, so we have Rays pitching prospect Haden Erbe coming on the show. Welcome back, Haden. Good to see you again.
Having me, Ben. Morning, guys.
Morning.
We're really looking forward to hearing some updates from you middle of the season here, kind of. I know you guys are in your second half, but you've been on a tear lately, winning 7 in a row, 8 of your last 9, and you are 12-3 across your last 3 series. You're also pitching really well, last 12 innings since July 9th. July 9th. 12 innings, 15 strikeouts, 3 walks, just 3 earned runs. Everything seems to be clicking right now for you and the Hot Rods. That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's a good time right now. Winning baseball games makes it easier. Show up every day and play together. We're having a good time right now. The vibes are high.
Yeah, it definitely seems like it. So what would you attribute like your personal success to lately, like the most? Like what has been the key for you in this nice run you're having?
It's an ever evolving, evolutionizing, analyzing the outing, and it's kind of a lot of what we talked about earlier in March or February. It's just like keeping the thing, understanding the game that we play. That's bad. There's sometimes nothing good outcomes. It's best having a plan to get better every day. As the season goes along, because it's easy to look forward. You know that you only have 4 series after this week, 2 home, 2 away. You know, it's coming. We have exactly 1 month left in the season, but I mean, that's a long time in the long stand of things. How much better you can get, how much better can you get your execution, preparation? Can you maintain your velo heading into last month? Because you don't want to peak in June, July, or August. You want to peak in September, October, when these postseason games are going, and you want to be at your best at those moments, because otherwise you can have the best record in baseball. We've seen it before. You can have guys on career years. I mean, Clayton Kershaw from 07 to 2019, even now. And then if you don't have that postseason success, what's it all mean? What's it all for? So it's a little better, and having an eye where you are and another eye where you're trying to get to. And sometimes you have to sacrifice results in the name of development. I know that's a big RC list sign preaching to us. It's like, I'd rather you fail today doing something that's going to help you tomorrow than have success today and not being the best version of yourself in the future.
Right. No, that totally makes sense.
Yeah, and I love what you said about sometimes sacrificing current results in the name of progress in the future. I think that's something that's really lost on a lot of people watching games, is they don't, especially on a minor league level, a lot of times people don't understand just how valuable it is, the development, the time that you're going through. You talked about kind of going into it on a daily basis, having a plan of things to get better. Are there any things right now that are kind of in your plan of things that you're trying to get better on a daily basis, like right now?
Right now, I'm just trying to. I've switched break ball grips. I was throwing the gyro cut slider where I wanted the upper 80s, and that just became a very good pitch for me. It became a gyro, basically curveball, had some downer movement to it, but it was about 83 to 86. So I started throwing a sweeper, which was at the exact same velo, but the metrics were significantly better. So why would I throw a gyro with not as much movement? I could throw a sweeper with this without sacrificing velo. I can add triple the movement to it and learn how to use that and land that. That's because if it moves like I had one at 18 the other day, but if it moves the length of the plate, that means I have to move my sights an entire plate over, right? So it's trying to get in strike one to be able to do that and work on that. And then I've just really good focus on just strike one, cutting down the walks a little bit, which I've done since the first about month and a half, which I knew I was going to be a little forgiving of myself whatever happened the first month, since I didn't have a spring training. I think right after we got off the phone, I literally blew my knee out the next week. Had surgery, didn't get to do my first spring training. So first getting in the strike zone, getting the feel, feeling good. And now it's just like taking little steps, becoming a better pitcher. That's looking like just getting that sweeper over the plate and basically just find a consistent release point with it when I want it in the zone and when I want it out of the zone.
Right. Awesome. So how does the sweeper play off your fastball? So like, what's your fastball looking like right now?
I've been averaging 94.7 to 95.5. I'm consistently up to 6, seeing 7s every week. Once every 2 to 3 weeks, I'll see an 8. I'm carrying it consistently 17 to 18 inches. My best ones would be 20. My worst ones would be about 14, 15. What goes into those little caveats of having a pitch that's like elite to almost a dead zone fastball is just like right as it comes off the fingers, creating true spin access. 12 o'clock to 1 o'clock will get you the best results. But if you come off of it just a little bit, like cut it a little bit, it'll kill it to about 15. So then the velo will help keep that out of the stands. But you really want to try and spin that baby above 17 and a half induced vert, which is, I mean, my best ones I'll average probably, I think on the year, it's like, I think you guys use the one with gravity when I see you guys post on Twitter, and it's like 11.8 at like 94.8, 95.3 would be what I see you guys posting on Baseball Savant uses, and that's with gravity. Right. But we use TrackMan plots where we use the induced, which is like 20s, like doing once in a fastball. And then the horizontal break is actually the same, which is weird through with gravity and without gravity. The horizontal break doesn't change. It's the same. So if it's 15, it's 15 both.
So how much does TrackMan account for like your release point in terms of like extension and height? Because doesn't that factor into induce vertical break as well, or is that different?
Yes and no. So TrackMan objectively captures exactly where you release the ball, what the ball does out of the hand to the glove over the course of those 60 feet 6 inches. That's why when you have a guy who can get extension to 7 feet, like my buddy Duncan Davitt, the perceived velo will not be tracked on the TrackMan, but we can go back and reverse engineer those numbers to see how much our vertical approach angle. TrackMan's that's not affecting the velocity that comes out, but when we number of how it's approaching the zone, through the zone and sideways, the horizontal approach angle, that's where being on the different parts of the mound, release height, that's where all that does. TrackMan just gives you the objective of what exactly happened at what points, and then the Rays will have all their algorithms that they'll run them through, or different teams will run them through, and that'll show you the effect of those pitches from release heights for BAA, HAA, velocity. I think there's even there's another point. I think with the new Hawkeye, you actually can get how the ball's moving through the zone, which is at like 3D, whatever. Because TrackMan just does 2D, and that's X, Y. But there's another part of that in the 3D matrix of Z, and like you can get a Z break, which is can really like sometimes where pitches will like an Invisa fastball that metrically doesn't look great on TrackMan. It doesn't pop or whatever, and it's just the results are through the roof, you know. So all those things are trying to figure out what makes us effective. TrackMan doesn't take into account deception. That's where like actually getting trying to hit off certain guys will be, and why guys can be so successful with maybe last stuff.
Right. Okay. So that definitely makes sense. So it's just capturing like the raw data, and then you can use that for whatever purposes you need. I just wanted to touch on that approach angle thing that you mentioned. How's Jeffrey Hackinson looking? I know he was relatively recently promoted to high A along with you, and he was someone I was really interested in when the Rays first drafted him because that's when I first learned about vertical approach angle, and he was like when he's putting his fastball at the top of the zone, it's like almost like a Kimbrel like approach angle when he's locating it well.
Yeah, well, him and Duncan Davitt, they have this same type. They're not going to flash 95 on the board, 96 plus. But when they throw a 92, 93 mile per hour fastball, I mean, it's if you ever watch Paul Siebel pitch, it's very similar. It's just he's a dominant closer for the Mariners. He's just driving the ball through the zone at this angle, and the bat, you literally have to get above and swing down because
Crazy.
you're going to miss it because it's going to keep continuing over what your eyes are seeing. And when a guy who's more average release height like myself, the ball is coming in at a down angle, and you can actually get on plane, but you can't get on plane because it's coming. They're shooting it like below 5 feet, and the top of the zone will be at 4 feet. And it's unreal. Absolutely, probably been our best pitcher since he's gotten called up. I don't even think he's given up a run yet with us. He's not walking anyone, and he's punching the world. And he actually saw, I think, his first 93 we were talking about the other day, recently. And, he helps pick my mind. We play catch together. We'll talk about mechanics, lower half. And then Duncan's kind of just doing the same thing just every day, just getting whiffs. And it's like, wow, if I throw harder, but that's where velo's not really everything. Location and deception really, really keep you in this game a long time. And you're seeing that with Jeff Hackinson and Duncan Davitt. They're absolute beasts.
That's awesome. Like I'm so interested in all the data that you have access to and that you can use to kind of influence how you're making your adjustments. I'm just curious, is all this data stuff that the Rays are like someone with them is sitting down with you and going over it like on a weekly basis or whatever, or is that data that they have access to and they will give you if you ask for it? So is it kind of a it's there if you want it, or is it they're giving it to you and they're working through with you on a daily, like, is it kind of a little bit of both, or what does that look like?
But there's a spectrum. There are the guys who are they're going to throw a fastball down your throat because they just want to see if you can hit it. They don't care why you can't hit it. They just know you can't. So they're just going to do that. And that's kind of what Atkinson will do. He'll just rip a heater down your throat. And it's like, you look at the board and it's like, oh, it's 91, 92. And, he's got 4 punch outs in 2 innings with no barrels. And it's like, okay. And he's like, I don't really care. He's the guy who just want to throw harder. And it's like, it's that. And then there's other guys like myself who are like, I could tell you what I'm trying to do, what I'm trying to get, what these different little caveats. And I'll have talk down meetings with different guys, whether it's a sports science department. We have guys who literally just do our analytics for pitching, how that stuff will play at the next levels we go to, where those pitches need to go. Our pitching coach will pick his moments to say where we can optimize that location because of your pitch qualities. I mean, you never want to get too caught up on it because, Pete Fairbanks, our closer in the big leagues, he was on a podcast the other day with the Shred, and it's like, bottom line, did you get the out or did you not get the out? All those things are only about maybe show you why you're successful, but you could have a dead zone fastball with a crappy slider and a crappy changeup, and if you have you're putting that ball in a good zone and you're attacking the zone, you'll have success. Strikes are one of the most strikes, velocity, and movement. That's how it goes. But if you're one of the best strike throwers and command guys, then you're going to have a lot of success. So I think everyone kind of takes it at their own time. You don't want to get too captured on it. They have guys who have the information available, and it'll help you. I think for me, I like to have the information to help me have more conviction when I'm on the mound for competing, because it's like, if I get got, that's part of it. The hitters we're facing are really good. These are the best hitters you've ever faced. It's the highest level of baseball you've ever played at. So it's always like a quiz or a test. It's a dynamic test where you can't really have the right answer, but you try to do your best with all the information available. And the Rays do a good job of getting that to us when we need it, not necessarily overloading us and making that taking it away from the thing where we just need to compete.
Right. It seems like having access to the data is what helps you become like the best version of yourself. So it's a pretty individualized approach to each player, which I definitely like. Like as a teacher, that's like best practice. That's what you strive for.
Right.
But you mentioned the level of competition that you're facing now. How different is high A from low A? Because I know when they dissolved like the short season, like rookie ball type thing, everybody was kind of like just bumped up to low A the following season. So it's like, what's the biggest difference you'd say?
So I actually can't speak. I skipped low A. I was lucky.
Yeah, that's right.
I've never been to Charleston, but I've talked to guys who have. My whole draft class went, and Colby White's with us now. He was my roommate the last couple of weeks. We're pretty buddies. We were here, and a lot of what I understand is low A is like strikes. If you get those strikes consistently, you'll do very well. If you can throw 93 plus, you will do very well. And if you can throw a breaking ball in the zone. So let's say you have a 90, 92 hour fastball with a breaking ball you trust in the zone, you'll do well. A lot of those guys are hunting heaters. They're just trying to get hunting heaters and trying to stop chasing breaking balls. The next level of high is starting to hit mistake breaking balls and mistake heaters. And then the approach gets to double A where like, all right, they're going to concede literally parts of the zone. If you can throw 3 pitches in that zone, then they're going to concede that to you because they hit this part of the zone well and they know that. And then AAA, it's kind of like, I look at all the stuff you guys post, and like Isak Paredes is looking to pull the ball in the air. He will only swing at ball, even if it's a fastball away. If he can get on time and it's the right thing, he will look to pull that ball in the air. And if he can catch enough of it, it's going to go out. He knows that. So it's like that's how the game develops at level to level. We're all kind of working on the same things, but when you get the AAA big leagues, you do what you do better than everyone else, and you do that for 162. And guys, and that's why people get angry at Joey Gallo. What are you angry at Joey Gallo? The guy hits homers, takes his walks, and punches out. You're people who sign him and give these 10, 15, $12 million contracts, $6 million are okay with that. Go hit homer, strike out, and walk. So I think fans just lose out that he's the best. His home run rates are like the best. Sure, his strikeout rates are the worst, but that's the push. That's that you trade that off. And then he brings value defensively. So I guess I know that didn't really quite answer your question, but that's about how I could get how the levels climb and how evolution as baseball players. But like I mean, even the best, Derek Jeter. What is Derek Jeter the best at? Taking an inside fastball and hitting it right in front of the right fielder. Just was what he was. He had probably 3,000 hits, 2,000 of them were the exact same way. The rest was him just, running into homers, is what they say. But that's the biggest difference what I've understood just from conversations with my teammates and my draft class. And you throw strikes, you'll be very all right in low A, and then high, you need to mix a little bit more. And the stuff you want the stuff to take another step, because also the ages are different too. If you're 19, 20-year-old like Carson Williams or Roman Anthony, guys that we're seeing who are in high A and doing very, very well, it's like, golly, the talent they have is unreal. And it's not very often you'll see those guys in low A. And when you do, they're really young. Carson Williams, 18, 19 last year with K numbers. He'll tell you he struck out 180 times, whatever it was. But, I mean, dude's almost on pace for 20 home runs, and I've never seen someone play defense like he's played. It's unreal. It's like watching I don't know how many big leaguers I've played with. They're still moving through whatever, but it's like that guy. It's like I'm watching him. It's like literally a stud. I mean, absolute stud. It's just different. It's a different vibe. You can just see the talent oozing out of him every time he plays, every night. It's special. So.
No, definitely. I every time I'm able to watch him play, it's like, I don't know, it feels different. I can't really quantify it. I've never played at that level, but it's like, oh, he's gonna play somewhere at some point. He's gonna be something. So that's pretty exciting.
It's effortless. It's easy. He makes it look easy, and it's not freaking easy. It's it was, I think we were down 1-0 in the 8th inning of the night, and they got, I don't know what the count was, but they just hung a break him on. He just hit it over right center. We win 2-1. We go get the last 3 outs. Ball game. We win. And it's like, dude, what? Like we had nothing going, and he's just, all right. I'll just hit this ball over the fence, run, be a little excited about it, and just come back the next day and just ball out again. Like it's so easy for some of our guys. They're so good. It's unreal.
It's a lot of fun when you're watching a game, and you like all everybody who's out there is just they're all elite, and then you see a guy that walks up there and you're like, how is this guy different from all the different guys that I'm watching? I was at the Cardinals game, the Rays Cardinals game earlier this week, and I mean again, everybody on the field is elite, but something about when I saw Nolan Arenado walk into the batter's box and just the way that he went about his business every time that he was hitting, it's like, you could just tell. So it's super awesome that we have, I feel like our system is full of those guys, that we have these incredibly talented players that are just doing amazing things. And, I'm that's part of the fun of being a baseball fan. I feel like is, while obviously, as a fan of the Rays, we're looking at the major league team and what they're doing, but there is so much fun to be had. And I feel like baseball fans that don't follow the minors lose out, because there's so much fun to be had in watching all this incredibly talented people all throughout the minor leagues that are just doing their thing and working on their craft. It's just a joy to watch all these people working and getting better and seeing what they can do. It's just a joy to watch.
Absolutely.
I wanted to touch back on something you said earlier about making sure you're peaking at the end of the season. What does your arm care routine kind of look like then? If you're aiming to be your best in August, September, what are you kind of doing on like a day-to-day basis, or just on games where you pitch, so then you're taking care of your arm the following couple days, whatever?
Yeah. So arm care is pretty different people. As an organization, they basically make multiple ways for us to get our arm care in that they want us to do, but the core of it is you're attacking your shoulders. You're trying to attack the internal, external rotation of your shoulders and that strength. You're trying to get your posture back to reset it backwards from we're throwing. We're always going forward. You want to get that back, get that set. Scapular mobility and stability. As long as strength, there's different ways we can do that. And then your forearm making sure you're attacking the different muscles around your forearm to make sure they're staying strong, because when we throw, we're breaking down our arm in ways that aren't like organic. That's not, it's literally inhumane. We're not supposed to throw overhand. We're not supposed to throw at these velocities, but we basically, the body's so phenomenal that we make these physical adaptations at every point of our body to make sure we can throw, whether it's my trap being so tight to make sure it holds everything in place. Your scaps, making sure they're moving properly. But post game, after every game, we really attack basically those 5 core things. You're going to use tubes, weights, our manuals with the athletic trainer. Then you can do your strength work. I like to incorporate my arm care into my strength work in the weight room. And then I think the most important part of arm care is getting to bed, getting that food in you, hydrating, and then making sure, like, people don't really understand that, like, arm care is more about volume and intensity. You can't manage your volume and intensity. So whenever it's time that when I play catch the next day, I don't play catch to the point where I take too much out of the gas tank that'll take away what I need to do tomorrow. I don't make too many throws at too high intent, or I don't overdo it even in the weight room or in arm care to where I can't get back ready to play in 2 days. Like I said, if I throw 1 inning on a Friday night and I have to be ready for Sunday, I'm not doing arm care. I'm going to bed as early as I can, eating, because all you're doing when you do the arm care is you're actually breaking it down more in hopes to recover. But if you break it down so much to the point where it can't get back to being recovered by the time you need to pitch again, that's where injuries can happen. And then injuries are going to happen anyways. It's just, I've had 7 to 8 surgeries, and since I'm 24 now. I turn 25 tomorrow, actually. But
happy birthday!
I blew a knee up another knee. My cleat caught. I fractured my shoulder socket. They up my first elbow surgery, so I had to have a second one, which led to eventually the third one was all stem. It was like 7 years of elbow problems off not going. Just 14. You don't know much as college baseball, much as finish high school, and then how that stuff interacts with getting to these doctors. And so now it's just about learning yourself. It's self-education. It's coaching yourself. It's just being aware of all the things that help you be successful. And that's arm care. It's not do this exercise, do this strength thing, do this mobility thing. No, it is all of those components with how you treat your body off the field. Arm care, if I hurt my oblique, to me, that's arm care. It's still keeping me from pitching. It may not have been an injury to my arm, but if I go and play golf, if I go play 36 holes on my off day on Monday and then they ask me to pitch and I tweak my lower back, that's arm care. You know, people don't like thinking of it that way. Or if I go out Friday night, go get wasted with the boys, we go have a good night, and I'm asked to pitch on Saturday, and I'm on 3 hours of sleep, and my body's still trying to get alcohol out of my system, which is literally just a poison in terms of baseball talk. I try not to drink at all. It does. I still think that part of the game, building teammates and having those memories, is important as well. You don't want to keep that from you, but I have to be aware and do the things I know that's 72 hours. My body's literally just trying to get the poison out, which means it's not going to synthesize protein as well. It's not going to sleep well. My swim cycle is going to be messed up. And to me, that's arm care. That's for, fans get whatever. It's like, dude, you don't understand that, like, every decision you make in your life affects what happens on that field. So we just try to do our best job on a daily basis to make the right decisions, to perform our best, and then do our best. And if you can look in the mirror and go back and say, oh, I got hurt for X, Y, and reasons, I didn't do whatever, then that's learning. That's arm care as well. Make better decisions moving forward to hopefully prevent that. But sometimes too, like, I don't know if y'all have ever seen the cadaver with the UCL. It takes about that much effort to snap a UCL. So if your body doesn't contract in the right way in the bicep through your flexor pronator, they don't contract to protect the UCL. You could just, there's not much taking your arm from literally flying with the ball at the plate, So it's a miracle we're all doing what we're doing. And if you're healthy, stay blessed and stay grateful that you're healthy, because it could change in a moment. I've seen guys tear their UCL with their hand getting caught on their jersey as they go to throw a baseball. Freak accident. There's 18 months of your life trying to get back to a level of baseball that you've only reached for a certain amount of time, because like I said, we're all at the highest level we are now. And Colby White said he got to AAA, but he's back here at Bowling Green, and all he can think about is getting back to Durham and making sure he's doing the right things and staying on his approach. And he's been awesome, and he's a great dude on top of being one hell of a pitcher.
Yeah, just touching on like taking care of your body. Something my yoga instructor said a while ago was that your body will never lie to you. It's incredibly honest. Like it's built to tell you when something is wrong. So if something is wrong and you're ignoring the signals, um, it really comes down to like being a good self-evaluator and being honest with yourself and really knowing yourself. So it kind of made me think about when you mentioned Kershaw earlier.
Yeah.
I was at the game where he was pitching against the Rays, and before the game, just watching him do his pregame work, like he treated it like you could tell it was the most important thing in the world that like 20-30 minutes he was out there like doing long toss and all these other things on the field. Like the guys who really take their time and are, diligent about taking care of themselves, it really pays off. And it's just, I don't know, it's really awesome to see that. And yeah, it's just something that popped in my brain there.
And
So
testament to you can do all the right works with the right intentions and still be playing. I mean, he's still hitting the IL here and there.
yeah.
He's actually, people forget that Kershaw's not very old. Justin Verlander and Max Scherzer, I think, are 5-6 years older than Kershaw, 4 years
Mhm.
older than Kershaw, and they've pitched longer into their careers. And it's like you've seen it with your own eyes. He's not neglecting it. This stuff is just really hard on the body. What we're doing is really tough. You're doing over 162. I see you guys bring attention to the travel schedule, man. It's all factors, and you're just trying to get to the next day to be your best, and hopefully, and when you're in the hole, hopefully you can get out of the hole before it's too late. So I mean, I'm glad you said that with Kershaw because I know he's had like almost chronic hip/back issues, and he's the best. And if he's doing that with as much money as he's made to make it a priority, I want you guys to think about. I want everyone and fans to think about guys who aren't making as much money as Clayton Kershaw with the best doctors and the best arm cares, whatever. It's like it's part of the game. It's the worst part of the game, in my opinion. But there's got to be an understanding that it's not a training staff's fault. It's not a coach's fault. It's usually not the player's fault. It's the game. And if you have a problem with it, then have a problem with the game. Don't get upset at individuals who only are trying. Especially when we struggle, we're only trying to do our best. I've never met someone who's it doesn't matter how selfish a player, they're not. At worst, they're trying to do the best for themselves, and that's and help if they're doing well for themselves. It usually helps the team. So I see a lot of stuff on Twitter and stuff, and I feel like people just don't understand that we're all literally just individuals. And if you had a million people go through what you do on a daily basis, literally what people do is go through a fine comb what you do on a daily basis, and then they'll have to just scream when you screw up. It's just pretty remarkable because I did that to you, anyone and their wife or your children. I mean, like that we're family. That's what you're doing. You may not be attacking me, but if you're attacking my homie in AA, it's like God, you don't understand the work that's going in. You don't get it. You've never achieved anything on it. This is just This is physical and mental coalition to play the hardest game on earth. So it's just I don't think there's enough compassion in the world or just a love for just individuals just trying to do their best. That's all it is.
Yeah, the compassion is a really good word for it. It's compassion is quite lost on the majority of sports fandom. I think that's pretty obvious. And I've said it a couple times on the podcast. If as fans, if somebody came to our job every day and watched everything we did at our job every single day, and then yelled in our faces every time we messed up, we think that's pretty unreasonable because that's just life. And we talk about it all the time on the show. Just can we have some compassion, have some grace? Let's we need some context here. There's a difference between commenting on what happened and saying, well, this happened this way and the outcome maybe wasn't what we wanted, than attacking someone for the outcome that they got, despite the fact that how hard they were trying to get the good outcome. So compassion is a great word for it. I think if sports as a whole could get a little more compassion, it would be a better place for everybody involved, in my opinion.
Agreed.
So, oh, go ahead, Zach. You're good.
I was just going to say, kind of bouncing off of some of the negative aspects of the sports. What are some things that you're really proud of this season? Like, what's maybe one thing that you're like most proud of on and off the field this year?
Well, I mean, right, like I said, right after I got off our last time, I pretty much tore my knee the next time, and that process, like it's like okay, I leave for spring training in 10 days, 14 days. My first spring training. I've only gone to college for 6 years and 5 schools, and I couldn't be excited to go to training for the first time. 48 hours later, I'm waking up. I have a knee surgery, and my spring training involved literally not putting on pants or throwing a baseball. So I was like, okay. So I was pretty happy with my attention to detail. And I mean, you said Kershaw was doing his 20 to 30 minutes pregame work. I mean, imagine that work on a 6 to 8 week scale, just trying to get to be able to play a game and do your 20 to 30 minutes pre-game work. I was really happy with how I handled that mentally. I was happy with how that rehab process went. It went smooth. I ended up getting to on the field doing things with the baseball I've never done. My average velocity has climbed again. Last year, I think I was more like 93.6, and for the most part this year, I've been 95, like average. I think my slowest velo has been like 94.5, 94.6, which would still round up as far as fans. I was 95 if I got on the big screen, you know. So I'm really happy with that on the field. Off the field, I've done a lot of work, you know, with our mental side of things, with Chris Goodman and Vince Lodato, and they've been, I mean, integral, just like taking me, like not only worrying about as baseball, but as the man. And you know, I feel like I've taken some strides in that way off the field. And I think this year too, something I realized in college, you know, I went to so many different schools and so many different people. It's like I neglected the teammate portion of being a good teammate or being the best teammate and good friend to my teammates. And I feel like I've taken another really positive step with how I've connected with all of my teammates this year, including our Spanish speaking guys, our hitters. Um, I'm really competitive, so I can be a little hard to play with, like when playing cards or video games or anything like that. But like, I feel like a lot of guys would, you know, maybe go to bat for me and say that I've taken a next step of being a better teammate, and that's something I'm really proud of off the field, because that's not something that was a strength in the past for me. So those are the two things mostly I would say I'm proud of.
That's so awesome to hear. Especially as like we're all kind of in the same boat here, like early mid 20s, and like it's so important to kind of take those personal steps at like this point in our lives. And like yeah, I mean it's definitely going to pay dividends, especially like on the field, but it's a good feeling to be like to become a better person. So I can totally relate to that. That's really
And
exciting, and it feels good.
those aren't always steps in a positive direction. I mean, I know
Right.
for sure I have moments where it's like, you know, I was a dick. Just, I mean, you know, it'll get thrown right back in your face later on. But you know, it's just hopefully having those conversations to know that's just coming from the right way, and there's no ill will. It's just like I was a dick. You know, it's part of it. You know, you're gonna be a dick. You're gonna meet dicks. So it's just making sure you know that's coming from a place of love and where you stand full time with, and not being taken off for one eye experiences or you know, or a bad moment. You know, it's the kind of same thing as individuals with fans, us, but like as teammates and just any of your friends or family in life, that it's gonna be good days, it's gonna be bad days. You know, just let know where you're coming from all the time, and just try to be consistent with that. And if you mess up, apologize. It's not that difficult. You know, it's people make it seem like it's the hardest thing in the world to say sorry, but I think it goes a long way.
There's so much value in having a little bit of humility in your life and being willing to admit when you've made a mistake. And it's something that it can be hard to do if you're not used to it. If you don't practice, humility is something you have to practice, I feel like, on a like very consistent basis. Because if you get out of practice of being humble, it's very easy to go the opposite way and just think you're the greatest person ever and you never do anything wrong. But humility is everybody likes being around somebody who's humble. and who's willing to admit when they're wrong and you try to be the better person. And it's sometimes hard to be the person that people want to be around it and have that humility. So that's awesome. I just think I completely agree with you. It's such an important part of being a good human being, because at the end of the day, like we're all trying to improve in our careers and in our, what we're doing on our fields of work, whatever that may be. But at the end of the day, we're all human beings. And if we can, if every day we make a step towards being a better human being, I think that's a successful day, regardless of the outcome of things on our various fields.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So you mentioned being a good teammate. Who are some of your teammates this season that have impressed you with their performance or work ethic or just, anything? Like who are some guys that you're pretty high on right now?
I said Carson Williams earlier. The truly most impressive people, the people who've struggled the most this year and have showed up every day and continue to be great teammates. They have their off the field lives gone. I know we have some guys juggling some stuff off the field, but they show up and are consistently great people. And I think they have that in ways that I probably wouldn't be able to handle if I was going through the same thing. And those guys, I'm not going to say any names just because, I respect them, but those guys, and they'll know if they hear it and see, they'll know who they are. I appreciate those guys. It'd be easy to come here and, we're showing up six days a week. Sometimes it's 7 when we're traveling on a bus for 9 hours, and they're consistently while doing life and getting to, I don't have a girlfriend or kids, but we have guys who do, wives and fiancés and, their children. And it's like they're showing up and doing this. It's like, man, you're impressive, brother. Like, I'm letting you know right now, don't. It might be your first pro season or whatever it is, but like you guys are impressive. Like, just stick with it. I know they're vocal about the struggles, but those guys are my favorite guys. And some other guys who've been really impressive in the strides they've taken on the field. Austin Vernon, from when I first got here in May to June to the last couple of months I saw him up to 100 last year, and he's been unreal lately. He has just found a gear and just taken with it. Keyshawn Askew, when I got here, was starting games, and now he's on the double. Became really good friends, and he would pick my mind a lot, and I'd pick his, and we would evaluate our games together and different things, and him using his changeup or attacking changeups lefty or how to attack righties and stuff. Watching him develop into what he did all through the summer here at Bowling Green and then getting the call up was impressive because it was like, that's passing the level. That's, if you want to go to AA, there's the groundwork. It's that. And it was 40 innings of work with like 67, 70 strikeouts with a sub-2. That's impressive, because he's like, I want to go to AA. I'm going to do the work. I'm going to get better. I'm going to evaluate these performances day in and day out. I'm going to put them together. When the bad performance happens, let's get back on it, not let that lead into the next one. And what Keyshawn did as well was truly impressive. And I'm saying 2 names, but it's through and through. Duncan Davitt, Sean Harney. Sean's gone through. He's my roommate. He's gone through low A, high A, double A. Has had success at all 3, and his worst numbers are in low A. So he's making sure that he's doing the thing that's the thing that it's hard to differentiate stats and success with still doing the things that are going to lead to success down the road. And for him to go I think he was at AA for 2 to 3 weeks, and he came back and no issues with whatever. That's what the organization wanted to do. Let him go get those innings, come back, get his feet wet. And he's just taken strides. His role has changed multiple times. And, Roel Garcia was a bullpen guy. He's starting, and he's starting to really develop really well as a pitcher. Ben Peoples is super impressive. And on the hitting side, I don't know if you've seen these Bowling Green hot rods, guys, but I can't talk enough about the offense. Those guys were great. And I'm glad 1 through 9 we don't have to face them, whether it's Willie Vasquez, Carson Williams, Drew Baker. We lost Bob Seymour to a hand issue. Kenny Pye. It's 12, 13, 14, 15 home runs through the lineup at high A baseball. You just don't see that very often. And then like, if the guys don't have it, like JB, Jalen Battles is a stud. That guy rakes. I don't know what his underlying numbers are, but he's a magnet to the fielders right now. And whenever those balls finally hit the ground or go over the fence, those numbers, I saw him jump like 40, 50 points in a week. So those guys are truly, truly talented. And I mean, it's all impressive. I mean, every day I tell them, I was like, I've never been on a team this good. I've never seen the talent that I see on a daily basis. And, I think it's just a pleasure to go and try and win baseball games with you guys for whatever time it is. And I was taught, we were hanging out the other day and I was saying, dude, guys, I don't know. Like, you see those things like these are the good times. You're going to look back and for me, that's been this year. It's just because it's just the quality of dude with the quality of baseball player. I've never been on a team. I'm just lucky, and that's a testament to the Rays organization, putting us all in position, and then getting good people in the org. So it makes it that much more fun to root for each other and play together.
I gotta say that,
awesome, man.
Yeah, I gotta say
exciting.
Yeah, that's just super exciting. And I got to say that probably my one of my biggest regrets of this season so far is y'all came. I live in South Carolina, and y'all came and played the Greenville Drive early in the year, and I for some reason forgot that that the Rays had an affiliate that played the minor league affiliate that is like near my city, and I forgot that you guys were coming to town. And like there was one day where I was just like driving through downtown, and I was like, wait. I know that team. I know that team that it's playing against the Drive, and I couldn't make it out to the game, and I super regret that because I would love to guys see you guys live. I try to tune in if I get time to watch you guys play because you're right. There's so much fun to watch with y'all right now. And that's why I keep saying that if you're a baseball fan listening to this and you're not watching the Rays minor league system, you are doing yourself a disservice. There is so much fun to be had, and there is so much incredible baseball being played. It's just awesome. It's just awesome.
I mean, this cohort that's in Bowling Green right now, this is the same kind of like group that was the I think the River Dogs last year in the low A team. I think that was the minor league like team of the year. So in the second half right now, you guys have allowed the fewest runs by a pretty significant margin. You scored the second most runs, and your run differential is triple that of the next closest team. Like this is a really special team. Like it's going to be amazing to see you guys, I think you're going to catch up to that Texas affiliate that's like 2 or 3 games ahead of y'all. And then,
dude,
yeah,
they can't lose, dude. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, they're actually, they've over your last like 15 games, you guys have pretty similar records, and you've all been on a tear. So, we'll see. But I'm excited. I hope you all make it into the playoffs because you absolutely deserve it. Like this has been a phenomenal season so far, and it's going to be cool watching you all kind of go up together to Montgomery next. It's amazing to watch, especially as a fan.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I mean it's fun to be a part of it. You say you deserve it or whatnot. It's kind of funny. I mean, baseball does not care about your feelings or what you deserve. No. It doesn't. So it's just like we'll go and we'll win. We won 2 games the other day, and that will have to look. And we somehow have gained 0 games back after winning 7 in a row on Hickory. And we don't play them. We don't have a chance to go take from them. So it's just like, man, it's kind of like you just show up and not worry about it. And where they fall at the end of the year, you go from there. Like I said, you just do your best because baseball does not care what you deserve or what you feel like you deserve. Because once you do that, it'll take it from you. You deserve this here. Here's a humble pie. Exactly, the humility we're talking about. And baseball is one of the best at serving it.
It's kind of funny that you've got this kind of dynamic going on in Bowling Green because it's almost the same dynamic that's going on with the Rays right now and the Orioles. The Orioles finally lost a game last night on a day that the Rays won. It's just kind of funny how you see those little parallels that are all going on. Just crazy.
Yeah, I mean it was great when we started off 13-0, and then it's like, all right, well, I mean that's not how baseball is played. It's awesome, but like I said, you're gonna lose. Number 170. You're doing all right, and that's still losing 2 out of 5, 1 out of 3. That's not sweeping a series ever. So, the game knows, it keeps track. You just show up every day, play your best, and try to be a dick.
Yeah, that's pretty good advice right there. I think that's a solid line right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just focus on what you can control, and yeah, pretty much. I guess we're good. Anything else you want to bring up here, Zach? I'm good on questions. We've covered everything. This was amazing as
This has been
always.
awesome.
I feel like every time. I mean, this is the second time we've had you on, but both times I feel like a little bit more like self-actualized after hearing you just kind of
Yeah.
share your experiences. Like there's so many parallels between like baseball and life, and also just learning like these like the intricacies and nuances of like the pitching side of things. It's really cool and super interesting. So thank you so much for your time, Hayden. This is awesome.
Thank you guys. I appreciate, coming on here. My goal and what gives me the most is helping others with baseball. I want to coach done. Being able to get on here and kind of put my money where my mouth is, and if I can help you guys understand, hopefully I can help younger players understand, or be a light or inspiration to anyone who sees or hears this. I just kind of want to help as many people. Just go from there.
All right. Well, yeah, anything you want to like share, I guess. I know usually we just have people like, with like writers and stuff on like plug something. Anything you wanna share with us, I guess, or plug, I don't know.
Just check out the Bowling Green Hot Rods. You go to MLB
Yeah.
on MILB First Pitch app. You can check us play almost every day, 6 times a week, usually at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern. And any support, or throw me a follow on Instagram or Twitter. I know that's big with everything going on. Anything like that. So I just appreciate the time, and you guys have been awesome. Thank you.
Thank you for coming on. I love talking to you. Love hearing your perspective on things. It's so unique. It's so valuable. So thank you for giving us the time.
Appreciate it, Zach.
Well, that was awesome. Thank you to Haden Erbe for coming on. He's an awesome guest every time we've had him on. Super gracious with his time, with his life too, with us to just give us all that information and kind of give us a little window into his life. It's just super awesome. We love having him on every single time. Be sure to, as he said, go follow him on all his socials. He's always posting interesting stuff as well. Super awesome to have it on. Really enjoyed that. I don't know about you, but I really enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, I mean I'm not gonna pick favorites, but he's got to be one of the coolest people we've had on
Oh
the
yeah.
show like ever. Like he's just he will he's not giving away any secrets of the any trade secrets, but
No.
there's so much information, there's so much to learn. My brain just it gains a new more brain cells, it gets more wrinkles every time he talks. It's really good stuff. So yeah, hopefully we see him pitching for the Rays within the next couple of years. I mean,
Yeah.
it kind of feels like they're going to keep that cohort they have right now that's like, that hasn't been promoted yet to Montgomery. It feels like they're going to keep them together through the rest of the season and
Yeah.
hopefully for a playoff push, which would be awesome. So we'll see. But yeah, I really wouldn't be surprised to see him next year starting off in Montgomery and then, possibly making it to Durham. And who knows with, the way pitching goes, like you can never have too much pitching depth.
Yeah. No
They like
kidding.
their guys internally before they, go out of the organization. So who knows where we're going to be a year from now.
Well, and if you look at some of his game logs too, he's a pitcher who can pitch multiple innings. It's just a valuable thing. Having a guy who can go three if you need him to. He can go 1 to 3 if you need him to. So that's just he's just a valuable asset, I think, as he continues to improve and just continues to build on what he's doing right now. I would not be surprised to see him move his way up next year.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just always learn so much from him, and we kind of learned a little bit this week from the Rays with the week that was. For me, I definitely learned that the pitching depth is being tested. We've had a little
Yeah.
bit more. We've kind of ramped up the bullpen games where it's just let's send out these 4 or 5 guys, 6 guys, and see what happens. And so far, it's been kind of like a bend don't break approach. But things have been good. Savale has helped kind of, he hasn't gotten the results, but he's pitched well. He's kind of helped eat some innings and make it, not overwhelming. And I don't think we're going to head into a situation where we had in May where the bullpen was just completely gassed. But the guys are definitely getting their work in, and we have a lot of quality arms. So we just kind of have to weather like maybe 1 or 2 more, and then things will normalize and stabilize with, the roster expansions in September. So we're getting there. We just got to make it through the next couple of weeks pitching wise. The offense is looking fine again, which is nice. But yeah, pitching has definitely been tested. But so far, mostly so good on the depth side.
Yeah, and when you look at where we're at with kind of the depth part of things, Taj Bradley is still sitting down there at AAA.
Yeah.
Expect to see him up soon, probably in the next week and a half or so. I expect, maybe, I don't know if they'll wait till rosters expand to bring him up. Who knows? But I would be shocked if we don't see him up pretty soon here to kind of help ease some pressure off the bullpen. But it just kind of is what it is. I mean, uh, I don't know. I guess we're kind of dancing around it, but losing Shane for the year it's brutal. Like, there's no other way to put it. Like, it's brutal. It's awful. He was having a great year. He was in, despite a couple blow ups, he was in Cy Young contention basically the whole year. It's tough to see. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. It's they're having all the conversations they need to have. It's probably a conversation of, can you still pitch with whatever this is? Do you need to get a surgery? But we have no idea. So we hope to get some updates at some point, but it's going to kind of be a waiting game on that, unfortunately.
Yeah, I know Monday they're getting like another opinion or something like that. So we'll see. But there are some other guys kind of like we talked about, like Taj is in AAA. Josh Fleming he's pretty much done with his rehab, I guess. He could be activated and come up and pitch today, which would be nice because it is going to be a bullpen day with Armstrong starting. So hopefully they can get like 2 innings from Armstrong and then see what happens after that.
Yeah.
Andrew Kittredge, he got an extension on his rehab. So he was initially like, he had to be activated by August 4th, but he got a 10-day extension. So August 14th would be the next day. That's Monday. So Kittredge could be up as soon as Monday. I think I'm not sure if he has an option, but we'll see. His velo continues to climb. He's looking better and better each outing. Colby White and Evan Reifert. We heard from Haden that, White's doing well. He's working his way back. Reifert's relatively new in high A, but they're both there and they could be, they could very easily jump up to Durham in the next week or so. So who knows with that. So there are reinforcements. We just have to hurry up and wait, I guess.
Well, and the nice thing too is, like, as there's never a good time for your ace to get hurt. But we're getting close to the postseason, wherein once we get into the dance, you really only need 3 starters at that point. So as much as it's not good, we could just kind of have to keep pushing, keep trucking along here for a couple more weeks. Because and the reality is, once we get to the postseason, you're not going to need that much depth. And really, like, when you get into the postseason and you look at the just 3 starters, I don't know, man. I'm gonna put Tyler Glasnow, Zach Eflin, and whatever they prefer, Savali or Littell, up against just about anybody's rotation in the postseason. I'm gonna be pretty happy with that. I got to see. I was at the Trop earlier this week for my first game of the season, which was super fun. Saw Zach Eflin pitch. He's a professional. He's a professional winner. It was super fun to watch him work. I'm gonna put him. He would be the one on, like, a lot of playoff teams right now. So we're going to be fine when we get to the postseason.
Oh, absolutely. Like, when Glasnow or Eflin is on the mound, you're going to have a chance to win the game. Like, that's just how it goes.
Period.
But over the past month now, we can say the same thing about Zach Littell. So
yes,
it's just been quality start after quality start. I don't think his one against Houston was, because I think he only pitched 5 innings, but it was like 5 innings of 2-run ball against the Astros. Who had just gotten Yordan Alvarez and Jose Altuve back, like, right when that series started. So you got 3 guys. Before, technically, with Savale, he's going to be better. He's gotten a little unlucky with the BABIP stuff, but you've got 4 guys who you can send out there for 5, 6, in Glasnow and Eflin's case 7 innings, and you're going to have a chance to win. Like, that's what you want in the postseason. So yeah, I'm not concerned about the postseason rotation. It's annoying to lose depth, but they have the depth. If this happened to any other team, they would have punted back in like June, and they would have started shipping all their high salary guys off. So thankfully the Rays have so much depth, and just excited to see where this team goes and what happens. And we still got like a month and a half of baseball left.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons why they've been able to, deal with the pitch that they've had as the offense has kind of come back alive, thanks to one guy who I don't forget. I did not forget all y'all on Twitter that were saying those things about Wander 2 or 3 weeks ago. I think the last time I was on here, I went on a rant about the way that he was being talked about online. And what do you know? He's actually really, really good, and he's been showing it the last couple of weeks. I think over the last week, he has the highest WRC plus in baseball, like period, of anybody in baseball, and it's not particularly close either. He's just been electric. He's not carrying the offense necessarily, but that would imply that no one else in the offense is doing anything, which isn't true. But he is such a spark plug, and he is doing so much for this team right now. That's just a joy to watch. I'm enjoying every second of Wander's sort of resurgence to what he truly can be. And if we get this kind of Wander in the playoffs, we're going to go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he was my bat of the week. He was your bat of the week. Like,
Yep.
he put up 1 F4 this week. Like, that's crazy. He had 27 plate appearances. 1, like, not 0.1, where that's like, oh, that's, whatever. He was decent, but like, he was worth a single win this week by himself in 27 plate appearances. Yep. He saw 84 pitches, and he swung and missed just 4 times in 84 pitches. Like, only twice in the zone too. So like, you're not gonna. He can't stop hitting right now. 363 WRC plus, 1673 OPS this week. Video game numbers, he turned the sliders down. Yeah, I mean, for the Guardians' sake, they're definitely going to be trying to turn those sliders back up as quickly as possible. But Wander is him being really, really good right now is inevitable. And the walk-off home run last night was so cool. It was a great call on the radio, by the way.
Oh yeah, excellent call. I will say not to put a downer on this one, but I wanted to take one moment to kind of when I saw the walk off, the first thing that I did was I wanted to go to the radio and hear Dave Will's call. I was like, oh, I know Dave gave an electric call, and it just and I mean I just don't want to forget what an amazing, broadcaster he was. Just wanted to give a quick mention to that because I miss him. I miss his voice. But it was a fantastic moment. He knew it the second he got it. He got that ball and he got it out. What a moment. It just kind of caps off his sort of, rise back up to what he can be and what he will be. It's just electric to watch right now.
He really is. And we talked about him earlier, but Zach Eflin was also our co-pitcher of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal week. He's the guy right now. I mean, he pitched 1 game, but he went 7 innings of 1-run ball with 8 strikeouts against the top 5 offense in the Cardinals. So I mean, for all their faults, like their problem has been pitching and defense, but they pitched really well. And I don't think they made a single mistake defensively their entire series, which is really weird because they're usually making like 2 or 3 a game outside of Nolan Arenado, who's just perfect by himself.
Yep.
It is what it is. Like sometimes the really bad teams are going to play well.
Sometimes Matthew Liberatore just decides to get all his pent up frustration about getting traded from the Rays out in 1 game and throw an 8-inning shut piece of beautiful baseball.
That was his first good game ever. He's never, I mean, like, no offense to him, but he's never pitched well before. Like, not even really in the minors. Like, he never was good at anything until a couple days ago. So, good for him. A broken clock is right twice. In his case, it's been right once, but whatever. It is what it is. Good for him. Like, yeah,
that's all you can say.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to flush it and move on. I was almost ready to flush the game last night and move on. I was like, I mean, sometimes your lockdown closer is just going to walk 3 batters and then somehow the bullpen throws 3 wild pitches in an inning. Somehow Miles Straw hits his first home run in 2 years. Like, that was the weirdest game ever.
Yeah, it was super weird.
I honestly, like, it's cool that we won it, but I wasn't really going to care about that result either way that much. I mean, I care about it, but I wasn't going to like put too much stock into it because
just a weird
that
game.
was the weirdest game. Yeah.
It was a weird game. Fun. It was great to watch. Well, and you talk about like sometimes a closer has a bad day. Like 2 weeks ago, didn't Felix Bautista give up a like grand slam in the 9th inning or something? Like, it just happens, man. It happens. It's life. Yeah. It happens.
Yeah. But I mean, that's it for this week, really. I mean, we
Yeah.
have a couple more injury things I can share, but
I think that's
I
about
don't know.
it.
Do you have anything else? Yeah,
Not
we had
really.
a
Just
pretty long interview.
keep trucking through the postseason.
Yeah. I mentioned McClanahan, White, Reifert, Kittredge, all those guys already. Taylor Walls, he's still a ways away. I really don't expect him back within the next few weeks. Mejia, he could actually be back like within the next 2 weeks, which I mean, Pinto's been fine, but I like Mejia too, just because he's a fun guy. He kind of swings at everything. But other than that, the draft picks keep pouring into the complex league team and the low A ball team. A couple guys are off to some pretty nice starts to their pro careers, and Brandon Lau is sitting on 99 career home runs. So,
And he's sitting on T minus. I think it's 8 home runs until Zach Blaine shaves his head. So we're on a good. I'm still, my vote is for him to do the little unfortunate bald spot that Brandon Lau has in the back of his head. I think he should do that. I think it'd be great. That's my vote.
Yeah, that would be a good like tribute to
when it happens.
Yeah, I mean, feels like 8 home runs is
easy.
Well, wait, was it like? Why is it 8 specifically? Because he has 15 on the season, I believe.
Well, it was
23.
Well, my claim was that Brandon Lau was going to hit 15 more home runs at the time of that conversation, and Zach was like, "No, it's not going to happen." And I was like, "Yes, it is going to happen." He was like, "No, it's not going to happen." And I was like, bet," and that's where we're at.
I mean, I think he's going to do it. The Rays play the Rockies pretty soon. Their pitching is a little iffy.
Is that in course?
No, I think the Rockies are coming to the Trop, but yeah, I mean Brandon Lau's like his batted ball profile is like built. I mean it's built to hit home runs anywhere, but he would do really well in Coors Field with the zero gravity thing once you get the ball up high enough. So
yeah, we need to figure out a way to get out to Colorado sometime next year.
You could probably take a plane. I think that would be the easiest way.
That would probably be the easiest way, yeah.
But who knows? But that's pretty much it. I don't have anything else. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, leave us 5-star reviews, follow Haden. Yeah, I mean, he was great. So just that's our thing here. Go Rays. Let's win a series today.
Rays up.
Thank you for tuning into this presentation by RBLR Sports. On your way out of the stadium, please remember to like and subscribe.